This is Frontier opening bell for today, the final trading day of the week. Of course, that also signals the end of the current week. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I am Bosin Omofai on behalf of Frontier Africa Reports. This is Frontier opening bell. The markets, a very quick run. The South African market fell very sharply, 1.5% on Thursday, in sympathy with the rest of the developed markets on the news from the ECB Governing Council that there's going to be an interest rate hike in July, 25 basis points, and another likely rate hike in September on the back of inflation and, of course, the wrapping up of asset or bond buying program by the European Central Bank. The market took that along with news coming out of China as far as the restrictions around COVID-19 lockdown and a lot of nervousness around the global supply chain and the geopolitics crisis in Ukraine. That played into the South African market, which is Africa's largest securities market on Thursday. We go back to the top of the table. The shares of Zenith Bank and GTCO fell very sharply on Thursday, offsetting gains by other names such as Lafarge Africa and International Breweries. The BRVM Composite fell by 0.46%. The Egyptian market closed for the week just a flattish line, 10,235 in Cairo, while the Nairobi Bourse made a green, 11 basis points, 129.88. Okay, so let's check with East Africa for other big stories that we're following. Kenya is reviewing whether it should borrow more money from external sources, considering the yield on its existing Eurobonds that's now above 10%. And Uganda's central bank has raised interest rates in line with many central banks across Africa to 7.5%. The whole idea is to tame or curb inflation. Inflation is the latest worry for central bankers around the world. And Tanzania's President Suluhu Hassan has promised 100 billion shillings per month as subsidy on fuel consumption to help mitigate the impact of rising global oil prices, currently trading above $120 a barrel for London Brent crude. For August, delivery was trading slightly around 122 early Friday, and the US West Texas Intermediate was trading slightly lower at about $120 per barrel. And Malawi's Ethiopian Airlines has now restarted ticketing in Malawi after the country is able to manage its current currency, foreign currency liquidity, which made Ethiopian Airlines to stop ticketing agents in Malawi from issuing tickets. Now that has been resolved somewhat. Now Ethiopian Airlines says that could resume. Malawi is going through a very crunching currency liquidity right now in just neighboring Zimbabwe. In West Africa, the global food imports, but that goes globally speaking, because the UN Food and Agriculture Organization says food imports globally will be $1.81 trillion for this year. That will beat last year by $51 billion on the back of the COVID-19 pandemic, and more importantly, the crisis in Ukraine. That means folks will pay more for food, but will get less value for their money. In the meantime, the news about Access Bank buying about 83.4% of Cedian Bank in Kenya is still rocking the Nigerian market. The Pan-African lender is expanding its footprints strongly across the African continent. Quite a bit of stories again as we look at Nigeria's political circuit, where the frontline political presidential candidates are speaking, giving some measure of guidance as far as their economic agenda is concerned on into the 2023 general elections. In Southern Africa, the number of economic data are on tap. South Africa's current account numbers, as well as mining and industrial output data, is expected to be released. In the meantime, the Rand started Thursday on a very strong footing, 0.34% better than the US dollars. In earnings, we're looking at SPAR, by the way. SPAR is reporting that its latest earnings was helped up to the upside by sales in liquor after South Africa relaxed restrictions around the COVID-19 pandemic and alcohol consumption towards the end of last year into the first quarter of the new year. In Zimbabwe, there's a couple of economic and business stories that are also making the headlines. Let's sum it up in North Africa, where Afreximbank is now ready to host the 2022 annual meetings in Cairo, Egypt. That will be taking place. It's a big headline story for us for next week, from Wednesday till the end of next week to the 18th. Frontier Africa Reports will be reporting, live streaming from there from Cairo to you. So keep an eye on that throughout from Wednesday next week. And that's about it for today. Let's do it there. The rest of the headlines and the stories you can read up on the show, again, or on our website at frontierafricareports.com. Go on our YouTube and across our social media on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, as well as LinkedIn. You can read up our stories and follow us. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.